Hi and welcome back to another fully loaded quiz episode from the Pub Quiz. Hopefully you and your brain are fully quiz ready, and if you're a regular, well, you already know the drill. But if you're new here, I'm Alan, your regular quizmaster and host. Here's how it all works. Today's quiz is over 6 rounds and has 75 questions. It's 1 point for each correct answer, and a score of over 40 is good. But a score of over 60, that's excellent. Round 1 is your trivia round, 10 open questions. Good luck, let's crack on with the quiz. Question 1. What is the only animal that can turn its head as much as 300 degrees in either direction? That would be an owl. Question 2. What is the 4th planet from the Sun? The correct answer is Mars. Question 3. As of 2025, what is the most populous city in the United States? It is the city of New York. Question 4. In which ocean would you find the Seychelles? You would find them in the Indian Ocean. Question 5. What breed of dog was Scooby-Doo? He was a Great Dane. Question 6. Which European country uses the forint as its currency? That is Hungary. Question 7. Which actor starred as J.R. Ewing in the original Dallas TV series? The correct answer is Larry Hagman. Question 8. Which singer had a hit with the song Dancing on the Ceiling in 1986? It was a hit for Lionel Richie. Question 9. Who is the only US president to have ever resigned from office? That was Richard Nixon. And question 10. Which major river does the city of Vienna sit on? It sits on the River Danube. Round 2 this week is 10 mixed format questions on sport and leisure. Question 11. Hurling is considered the national sport of which of these countries? Would that be Ireland, Scotland or Wales? It is the national sport of Ireland. Hurling is an ancient Gaelic stick and ball game played for over 3,000 years and is officially recognised as Ireland's national sport alongside Gaelic football. Question 12. How often is golf's Ryder Cup played? It is played every 2 years. Question 13. In what sport are the spectators encouraged to fix the divots during play breaks? Would that be golf, polo, or rugby? The correct answer is polo. Question 14. What is the name of the Brazilian martial art that mixes elements of dance and acrobatics? It is called capoeira. Capoeira was developed by enslaved Africans in Brazil as a way to disguise combat training as cultural performance. Question 15. In Olympic diving, what is the highest dive platform? It is 10 metres high. Question 16. In which country did the game lacrosse originate? It originated in Canada. Lacrosse originated with the indigenous people of North America, particularly in areas that are now Canada and the United States, with modern rules first codified in Canada in the mid-19th century. Question 17. What is the name of the ring that sumo wrestlers fight in? Is that a doyo, a tatami, or shikona? It is a doyo. Question 18. What colour is the centre circle in Olympic archery? Is it gold, red, or white? It is in fact gold. In Olympic archery, competitors shoot from a 70-metre distance at a target 122 centimetres in diameter, with the innermost gold ring worth 10 points. Question 19. In chess, which colour always moves first? That is white. Question 20. Which sport competes for a trophy nicknamed the Old Mug? Would that be cricket, sailing, or rugby? And the correct answer is sailing. The Old Mug is the nickname for the America's Cup Trophy, the oldest international sporting trophy, first awarded in 1851 to the schooner America. Hopefully you're up to speed with all your entertainment knowledge. 10 questions coming up. Question 21. What killed the radio star according to the 1979 hit From the Bugles? It was video that killed the radio star. Question 22. Which sad 1942 Disney cartoon was based on a 1923 novel written in German? That was Bambi. Bambi was based on the novel Bambi: A Life in the Woods by Austrian author Felix Salten. Question 23. In what country did the reality show Married at First Sight originate? Was that Australia, Denmark, or the United States? It originated in Denmark. The format began in 2013 on Danish TV, before spreading internationally, with the Australian version becoming the most famous worldwide. Question 24. According to the famous Elvis Presley song, on what street is Heartbreak Hotel located? Is it on Empty Street, Lonely Street, or Hopeless Street? It is on Lonely Street. Question 25. Which film became the highest grossing movie of 2023, earning over $1.4 billion worldwide? Was that Barbie, Oppenheimer, or Avatar: The Way of Water? It was in fact Barbie. Question 26. Which Ed Sheeran song became the most streamed track on Spotify of the 2010s? That was called Shape of You. Released in 2017, Shape of You topped the charts worldwide and became the first song to hit 3 billion streams on Spotify. Question 27. In 2023, which celebrity singer became the first woman to have 4 albums in the US Billboard Top 10 at the same time? The correct answer is Taylor Swift. Question 28. Which actor won the Academy Award for Best Actor in 2022 for his role as King Richard, the father of Venus and Serena Williams? That was Will Smith. Despite 2 previous nominations for Ali and The Pursuit of Happiness, this was Will Smith's first Oscar win, though it was later overshadowed by the infamous onstage incident with host Chris Rock. Question 29. What year did the reality series Keeping Up with the Kardashians first premiere on TV? Was that in 2007, 2010, or 2013? It was in 2007. Question 30. Which actor played the Ferrari driving private investigator in the 1980s TV show Magnum P.I.? Was that Burt Reynolds, Don Johnson, or Tom Selleck? Of course it was Tom Selleck. Selleck was originally offered the role of Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark, but had to turn it down due to his Magnum P.I. filming schedule. Round 4 is your picture it round. Just tell me who or what you see. Question 31. Can you name this American actress? Her name is Zendaya. Question 32. Can you name this Austrian actor? That is Christoph Waltz. Question 33. Can you name this Canadian author? Her name is Margaret Atwood. Question 34. Can you name this American musician? That is Dave Grohl. Question 35. Can you name the Spanish golfer? He is Sergio Garcia. Question 36. Can you name the Australian actor? That is Eric Bana. Question 37. Can you name this Welsh classical singer? That is Catherine Jenkins. Question 38. Can you name the South African actress? That is Charlize Theron. Question 39. Can you name this British actor and filmmaker? That is Dev Patel. And question 40. Can you name this former US president? That is Franklin D. Roosevelt. Round 5 this week is on geography. Question 41. What mountain, standing over 1 kilometre high, overlooks Cape Town in South Africa? That would be Table Mountain. Question 42. Which modern country was called Lusitania by the Romans? Would that be France, Germany or Portugal? The correct answer is Portugal. Question 43. What US state would you be in if you were visiting Old Faithful? You would be visiting Wyoming. The famous geyser is located in Yellowstone National Park, which spans 3 states, but Old Faithful itself is in Wyoming. Question 44. Which Scandinavian capital city is located on the island of Zealand? That would be the city of Copenhagen. Question 45. Mexico City sits over 2 kilometres above sea level in which mountain range? It is in the Sierra Madre. Question 46. The coastline of Libya sits on which body of water? Would that be the Mediterranean Sea, the Persian Gulf or the Red Sea? It actually sits on the Mediterranean Sea. Question 47. Into what body of water does the Mississippi River flow? Would that be the Atlantic Ocean, the Caribbean Sea, or the Gulf of Mexico? It flows into the Gulf of Mexico. The Mississippi River runs for more than 3,700 kilometres from Minnesota to Louisiana, where it empties into the Gulf of Mexico near New Orleans. Question 48. The Italian city of Palermo is located on which Mediterranean island? It is on the island of Sicily. Question 49. The Flavian Amphitheatre is better known as which famous landmark? It is better known as the Colosseum. And question 50. In which country would you find the Appalachian Trail? It is in the United States. The Appalachian Trail stretches for about 3,500 kilometres from Georgia to Maine, making it one of the world's longest continuous hiking trails. It is that part of the video where I have to ask a favour. If you made it this far in the quiz and you've enjoyed the quiz, do me a favour, give it a thumbs up by hitting that like button. It's the best way you can support my channel and any other small channel creators that you enjoy. If you're new to the channel and you do want to subscribe for more content, I've made it really easy for you. I put a QR code up on the screen. Just scan it with your phone and it will take you straight to the subscribe button. Right, back to the quiz. As always in the fully loaded quiz, we finish with 25 general knowledge questions. Good luck. Question 51. What is the tallest building in Europe as of 2025? Would that be the Lacta Centre, the Shard or the Warsaw Tower? It is the Lacta Centre. Located in St Petersburg, the Lacta Centre stands at 462 metres tall, making it the tallest building in Europe and the 15th tallest in the world. Question 52. Revealed in a 2019 film, Arthur Fleck is the alter ego of which supervillain? Would that be the Joker, the Penguin or Two-Face? And the correct answer is the Joker. Question 53. Which planet's orbit comes closest to Earth's orbit? Would that be Mars, Mercury or Venus? The correct answer is Venus. Question 54. If a triangle has two internal angles of 45 degrees, what is the third angle? The correct answer is 90 degrees. Question 55. In what year did George Washington become the first President of the United States? Was that in 1769, 1789 or 1809? He became president in 1789. Question 56. How many stripes are there on the American flag? There are 13 stripes. Question 57. What kind of animal is the subject of Erwin Schrödinger's famous thought experiment? Is that a cat, a dog or a rabbit? It is a cat. The Schrödinger's cat paradox illustrates the strangeness of quantum mechanics, where the cat is thought to be both alive and dead until observed. Question 58. Which Welsh singer had the 1968 hit with the song Delilah? That was Tom Jones. Question 59. Which snooker player scored 2 maximum breaks of 147 in a single match at the semi-final stage of the 2025 Saudi Arabia Snooker Masters? The correct answer was Ronnie O'Sullivan. At the age of 49, Ronnie became the oldest ever snooker player to score a maximum 147 in a professional snooker tournament. An hour later, he repeated the feat and picked up a prize of £147,000. Question 60. Which actor starred as Pat Solitano in the film Silver Linings Playbook? Was that Bradley Cooper, Jake Gyllenhaal, or Ryan Gosling? It was Bradley Cooper. Question 61. Which town do the Simpsons live in? They live in Springfield. Question 62. Which country has started work building a 170km long, 500 metre tall, futuristic city called The Line? Is that Qatar, Saudi Arabia, or the United Arab Emirates? The correct answer is Saudi Arabia. Part of the ambitious NEOM megacity project, The Line is designed to be car-free, powered by renewable energy, and house 9 million residents in a single linear urban structure. Question 63. Nick Mason was the drummer for which well-known band? He was the drummer for Pink Floyd. Question 64. Which George Bernard Shaw play features the character Eliza Doolittle? Was that Man and Superman, Pygmalion, or St. Joan? She appeared in Pygmalion. The 1913 play Pygmalion was later adapted into the musical My Fair Lady, which also popularised Eliza Doolittle's story. Question 65. Which David Bowie song features the line, "Take a look at the lawman beating up the wrong guy"? Is that from Life on Mars, Space Oddity, or Starman? It is from Life on Mars. Question 66. Which bodily organ produces bile? That would be your liver. The liver produces bile which is stored in the gallbladder and released into the small intestine to help digest fats. Question 67. Claire Danes played the CIA operative Carrie Matheson in which US spy thriller series? That was in Homeland. Question 68. Who wrote Far From the Madding Crowd? That was written by Thomas Hardy. Question 69. St. Martin is a Caribbean island shared by France and which other country? Would that be Belgium, the Netherlands, or Portugal? The correct answer is the Netherlands. The island is divided into the French collectivity of St. Martin in the north and Sint Maarten, a constituent country of the Netherlands in the south? Question 70. Which band had a hit with the song My Sharona in 1979? Was that the Cars, the Knack or the Who? It was a hit for the Knack. Question 71. Who was defeated at the Battle of Leipzig in 1813, also called the Battle of Nations? That was Napoleon Bonaparte. Question 72. In what year of the 20th century was Moscow reappointed the capital of the then Soviet Russia? Was that in 1905, 1918 or 1922? The correct answer was 1918. The Bolsheviks moved the capital from Petrograd back to Moscow in March 1918. A few years later, in 1922, it also became the capital of the newly formed Soviet Union. Question 73. George Peppard played Hannibal in which classic 1980s TV show? He played Hannibal in the A-Team. Question 74. What is the name of this 1931 Salvador Dali painting? Is it The Persistence of Memory, Melting Clocks, or Time Slips By? It is The Persistence of Memory. And question 75. In what decade of the 20th century was Bluetooth invented? It was invented in the 1990s. And that concludes today's quiz. I'll leave you with one final bonus question worth 2 bonus points on the screen. Remember to post your score in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, show some love, smash that like button, and why not try out these other quizzes here? Bye for now.